Hello, welcome to the GW9 stream. Let me know if you have any questions, 50-50 decisions, or dilemmas ahead of the next game week, which is a Friday deadline. So make sure to get your questions in and don't wait until Saturday to make your transfers. Hello, welcome to the GW9 stream. So kind of interesting to see United actually going full strength against Fenerbahce in the game tonight. Only, of course, Bruno Fernandes will get a rest due to his suspension. But when we take a look at Tottenham's starting 11, it's really the opposite. So we maybe Udogi and Madison, who's regular starters. Solanke gets a rest. Johnson, Kulusevski, Son, Porro, Van de Ven, Romero, all the usual suspects, gets rested for Tottenham's game in Europe tonight, while United are going full strength, of course, without, as mentioned, without Bruno Fernandes. FOMO, welcome. I'm thinking Game Week 9 is looking okay for me, but Game Week 10 is looking harder. Yeah. So, which players do you believe will do well in Game Week 9 for your team? I have a strong belief in Holland, of course. He will probably be my captain this game week, but I'm kind of tempted to go Embuemo as a punt as well. Really good fixtures for both, of course, and Embuemo in the last 4 game weeks actually he has better stats than Haaland, but yeah, we all know what Haaland can do, and hopefully he will start scoring again in game week 9. Oh, Haaland triple captain for me this week, I think. Yeah, I read somewhere that this game week is actually, when it comes to expected goals for teams, then Man City has the same expected goals against Southampton in game week 9 as they had in game week 2 against Ipswich. So it's probably a decent shout if you want to use your triple captain and maybe use some other ship in one of the few double game weeks that will be after Christmas. So personally, I do believe that using the triple captain this game week is a decent shout. I will not use my triple captain though. I will save it and hope that there will be a good, decent option in one of the, as mentioned, few double game weeks we will have this season. Flecken or Ederson? For me, I never really fancied Ederson in goal. He is, of course, one of the most nailed-on defenders for Man City, but the strange thing about the Man City defense is that they are really good, but they seldom keep an actual clean sheet, and he's, of course, more expensive than Flecken, and he rarely gets saves because Man City tend to have so much of the possession, so the opponents don't get their shots in. So I do believe that Flecken is better value than Ederson. Right now, I think that if you want to take a punt and go for a value defender from Man City, then Lewis is decent. But if you want more expected minutes and attacking threat as well, I would invest in Guardiola. I actually think that Lewis is more nailed for game week 9. Now with the Walker news, we know that Kyle Walker as well will probably not play. We have said yesterday before the Man City game in the Champions League that both Jack Grealish and Doku will be out. So hopefully Foden will start in game week 9 against Southampton. And I really get the idea of getting in another Man City player. Their fixtures in the next 3 games are really good. So in addition to Haaland and Foden is a really good option right now, but I would like to have one of their defenders. And if you have the budget, Guardiola is probably the best, but if you don't have the money to spend on Guardiola, then I think that Rico Lewis is decent for the next couple of game weeks. Oh, I see. What is your best tip to play FPL? So, my best tip when it comes to FPL, of course, it depends on your experience, probably. But if you're new to the game, I think that the biggest um, mistake and the biggest threat to your rank is forgetting the deadline. So, especially when it's a Friday deadline like this game week, so it's really important to check when the deadline is. Sometimes we have midweek games as well, and the deadline is on a Tuesday. So having control over when the deadline is probably the best tip, and having a quick look at your team before the deadline is gone, and like do um, transfers if you have injured players and stuff like that, and change your captain to a player that has a good chance of scoring. That's probably the best beginner advice. When it comes to a more advanced advice, it would probably be to be patient when it comes to transfers, especially before, especially after Christmas. I've seen so many managers do early transfers, and just to see that the player that they brought in gets injured, or someone else in their team, excuse me, gets injured before the deadline. So keeping track of the deadline and having patience when it comes to transfers is probably my top two tips, depending on your experience. I actually made a video about my top 6 tips when it comes to playing FPL. It's on my channel, of course. It's called How to Reach a Top 10k rank or something like that. It's mentioned 6 tips in there. Some really general advice, and some more advanced advice as well at the end. So if you're interested, go check it out. It has a thumbnail with Salah on it. Posted it in June or early July in the summer. So it kind of depends on your experience. For how long have you played FPL, Adesh? If this is your first season, I could probably give a couple of general tips, but if you played for several years, then it's probably not worth listening to the most basic tips. The most transferred in player this game week is actually Guardiola. I mentioned him earlier about Man City defense, and I do believe that he is a really, really good option for the next 3 game weeks. I watched the Man City games, and he is playing really advanced when Man City are in possession, and as we know with Man City, they are in possession a lot, so Guardiola is a really good buy for game week 9. How long you been playing for? I think that my first season was maybe in 2010, maybe the 2010-11 season. So that's 13-14 years now I've been playing actively and taking it kind of seriously. So I played the game for, as mentioned, 11 years, but it was only last year that I made this channel and started making some content on it. Partly because the place where I work, there are no players really interested in football, or especially not fantasy, so just a place to maintain the obsession, I guess. Hello, Cortex. I'm very well, thank you. How are you? No early transfers for me as usual. I'm trying to be patient. It was just this one game week. Was it game week 6 where I did some early transfers to catch the price rises, but this game week I'll probably save unless we get any news about any injuries tonight or during the day tomorrow. So I believe that my team is good for game week 9, and the bench is strong as well, seeing I have Smith Rowe on the bench, actually with a decent fixture playing against Everton, and of course Van Dijk is there. We know that he will start, but I'll keep him on my bench probably because the fixture is really tough, playing against Arsenal away. It feels wrong though to play Mykolenko and have Van Dijk on the bench, but as I don't really want to play Van Dijk, I will probably start Mykolenko, and if I start Mykolenko, I don't want to play Smith Rowe, so yeah, that's the reason for going with Smith Rowe and Van Dijk on the bench to avoid having players playing against each other. So hoping for maximum points in game week 9 by avoiding players playing in the same fixture. Solsaka for some this game week, triple captaining Haaland. Okay, you're the second one on the stream actually going for the Haaland triple captain. Kind of makes it more tempting to triple captain him. As mentioned earlier, Cortex, I read a stat that when it comes to expected goals for a team this season, Man City had the highest against Ipswich, but they equaled that expected goal this game week when they play against Southampton. So there will probably be goals. The bookies, they are seldom wrong when it comes to their predictions. And even though Haaland has blanked for 3 consecutive game weeks, I do believe that he will get goals this game week. So he's definitely my captain, but I'm not sure that I will use the triple captain. I think I'll be a bit more patient and wait for a decent double game week. The thing is that we're not really sure though if there will be a decent double game week, so it's kind of a risk not playing it this week as well. So I really get that a lot will play the triple captainship this game week. So do you have a plan for getting Saka back in game week 12, or are you just making the move and hoping for the best? I'm thinking of getting rid of Haaland in game week 12. Oops, message gone. I didn't really have the time to read that message, but I just saw that you will sell Haaland in game week 12, and this has actually been my plan since before game week 1. I started the season with Salah, Bruno, and Son instead of going with Haaland, and yeah, we all know how that went in game week 1 to game week 5. How excuse me, Haaland absolutely smashed it, and my rank took a hit. So now I'm 2.5, but I've actually had 3 green arrows in a row. The plan was always to bring in Haaland from game week 6 or 7 when the Man City fixtures are really good. So the plan was also always to sell him in game week 12 when the Man City fixtures turn again and they have tougher opponents. So my Haaland plan is to get rid of him with my wildcard in game week 12 and then probably get him back in game week 18. Yeah, Son is a really good option as well. I was really close to bring Son in last game week, but I went for Foden. So hopefully he will start in game week 9. I'm really hopeful, especially I don't like see players get injured, but the injury news about Doku and Grealish makes me really positive when it comes to Phil Foden's expected minutes. Yeah, exactly. Triple captain Haaland, yes. Yeah, that fixture against Ipswich for Spurs, that's game week 11, isn't it? Spurs play Ipswich in game week 11. I had a look at the fixture list a couple of days ago, and I really want to save up and have some free transfers ahead of game week 11 so I can take a couple of 1 week punts as well before wildcarding them out in game week 12. Let's see. Yeah, Sunday, 10th of November. Spurs plays Ipswich at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Sorry, missed that last message. Haaland out game week 12, so last chance to triple captain. Yeah, for now, this fixture in game week 9 is probably the best fixture for Man City and Haaland when it comes to scoring goals. I like their fixtures in game week 10 and 11 as well. They're playing away, of course, Bournemouth in game week 10. Then they have Brighton away in game week 11. And of course, in game week 12, there could be a lot of goals in that match as well. They're playing Saturday night against Spurs at the Etihad, and even though I kind of decided to go against Haaland on my wildcard, I will probably not have him in game week 12. I won't go for enjoying the club. Yeah. Seeing you guys considering the triple captain makes me kind of want to do it myself. His ownership will probably be around 150%, so yeah, you guys can especially enjoy the Haaland goals. For me, it's just about obtaining a rank, so if he doesn't score at least a brace, I swear to God, I'll lose my head. Yeah. I do believe that he will score, though. On the graphics, I've had a look at the bookies predictions for top goal scorers this game week, and Haaland, he is on 60% actually for scoring a goal in that game. That's 16 ahead of the next on the list, which is Cole Palmer, and Watkins is third with 42. So the bookies really believe in Man City. They have them as favorites for clean sheets as well with 56, and the next on the list is Brentford with 36, so 20% above the rest, Man City in game week 9. So I'm really hopeful that my triple up on Man City can pay benefits this game week. FOMO, I managed to get his hat-trick on triple captain last season. I've only owned Haaland since game week 6, yeah, same as me. Really frustrating though, seeing that he did so well in the 5 opening game weeks, just to have 3 consecutive blanks, which he actually never had before in the Premier League in his 2 seasons. Seeing you guys playing the triple captainship will make me cheer even more when Haaland scores against Southampton. Is this Saturday or Sunday? Yeah, Saturday. No early kickoff on Saturday, and remember that the deadline is on Friday, so early deadline this game week. Make sure to get your transfers in if you have anything planned. There will probably be a couple of price rises this evening. So the fact that you guys are triple captaining Haaland, I was kind of tempted to go for Mbuemo or maybe even Foden this game week, just to try to have an extra differential with the captaincy on one of them. But after reading a couple of suggestions and posts over at X, I know that he will be triple captain a lot. Maybe his ownership will go above 150. So then every goal will give me a red arrow if I don't captain him. So Haaland will probably be my captain, but it's tempting with Mbuemo and Foden. It's tempting with the triple captain as well, but yeah, it would probably just be the regular captaincy for me. Vardy plays football tomorrow, yeah. Oh, nice. You got a brace from Mbuemo. That's good. His ownership started to grow. Last week he was on top 3 most transfers in. This weekend, yeah, he's still on the top 3 transfers in. 280,000 managers has brought him in ahead of the game week 9 deadline. So yeah, I get that. When it comes to Vardy, as mentioned, I had a look at the bookies predicted clean sheet odds, and so as a Vardy owner, I would be kind of worried about the bookies predicting Nottingham Forest as top 3 for clean sheets. Man City with 56, and both Brentford and Brighton are predicted to have a 36% chance to keep a clean sheet in game week 9. Nottingham Forest actually have decent defensive stats as well, so I kind of get it, but Friday night deadline, evening game, lights out. I can see goals in that game as well. Mbuemo, I'll have to start saying Mbuemo instead of Mbuemo, because that's what it's actually called, Mbuemo. Just think that Mbuemo just feels more natural to say, but yeah, Mbuemo and Flecken are the only players I've had that started in game week 1. Yeah. For me, those players are Guardiola, Henderson, Gabriel, Mikolenko. I started with Calvert-Lewin, Watkins, and Van Dijk. Yeah. And the 4.0 goalkeeper and my 4.0 defender, Westergaard as well. That's actually quite a lot. Let's see, Henderson, Guardiola, Gabriel Mikolenko, Calvert-Lewin, Watkins, Van Dijk, Slicker, and Westergaard. That's 9 players. Nine players have survived since game week 1. True. Haven't wildcarded yet. We'll use it in game week 12, so yeah. That's probably the reason why I haven't changed it, so especially Slicker and Westergaard. They would not have survived my wildcard if I used it from game week 4 to game week 8. I would have changed him. Henderson as well. It was really, really frustrating on Monday watching that game. Crystal Palace against Nottingham Forest. I'm not sure if you saw the game, but that Wood goal, I think that Henderson should have done better. Probably kept it out. Should I sell Saka and Watkins into Cunha and Salah for -4? Yeah, I'd say those are good moves, especially if you believe that Salah will do well. Aston Villa have mixed fixtures going forward. Watkins not on penalties, and you get in Cunha with really, really good fixtures. Not the best stats, but he passes the eye test. And of course, Salah nailed on for Liverpool and on penalties. So I do believe that those transfers probably will repay the -4. Especially if Saka is out for one more game week. I agree this game week. I believe that Aston Villa have a decent fixture. For long-term moves, can probably pay off. Aston Villa playing away against Spurs in game week 10. Away against Liverpool, game week 11. Right now for me, I would go Cunha. The lead as Cunha or Wissa. Right now I will go for Cunha. Good form, good fixtures. He has been playing regularly. Wissa just came back from injury, so he will maybe be eased in. Especially if you have Bermo, then I would definitely go for Cunha. But if you by any chance have Strand Larsen up top, then I will pick Wissa instead. I would rather have Cunha and Mbeumo than double up on Brentford defense with Wissa, who just recently came back from a long spell on the sidelines. And of course, there is a chance selling Watkins this week might really hurt you. Decent fixture, but depends on how much you want Salah, I guess. Good luck, everyone, this week. Great talking to you, TFS. See you soon. Yeah. Thanks for joining in, Cortex. Always a pleasure. Good luck this game week, and hopefully, I'll see you next time I'll go live. So, Cunha or Visa, have you considered getting Raul Jimenez from Fulham? At the moment, I actually believe that he is probably, in the form he's in right now, he's probably the best budget striker available. I like Wood, I like Cunha. I kind of still like Calvert-Lewin a little bit. I will keep him this game week, but if I had an extra free transfer, I would probably go for Raul Jimenez. United 1-0, Ericsson. Rashford, yellow card. Mentioned earlier in the stream at the beginning, United, they are actually playing full strength against Fenerbahce in Europe this evening, while Spurs, they are resting almost all of their team. It's only Udogie, the left back, and Madison, who is suspended. Richarlison though is starting. I think that this in some way will kind of limit the appeal for getting in Solanke. Solanke's stats has not been good for the last couple of game weeks. He's been like more of a facilitator, dropping deep, playing balls out to the wings, and I do believe that Richarlison getting back, we'll see Solanke getting some early substitutions going forward. So at the moment, I think that Son is definitely the best Spurs option, but of course he is also their most expensive player. Still like Johnson. Seeing him rested tonight probably means that he will start next game week, and at the price he is really good value. Should have scored last game week as well, had a couple of big chances. And if you want to take advantage of the good fixtures in the next couple of game weeks for Spurs, then Porro is probably a good option. He is rested tonight as well. But if you have the funds and still haven't tripled up on Man City, I would bring in Guardiola. And Guardiola is also the most transferred in player this game week. So a lot have sold Saliba, of course, because of the suspension, and natural replacements have been Guardiola, seeing him have 314,000 transfers in. If you have Saliba, I want to sell him. I totally get it. Tough fixtures as well. So if you have the money to invest in defense and don't need to downgrade Saliba to afford anyone else, I will go for Guardiola, maybe Porro. But if you want to save up to buy the likes of maybe Cole Palmer and need to downgrade Saliba, I would definitely go for Aid Nouri or Milenkovic from Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest, they are actually top 3 when it comes to expected clean sheets. And remember, they are playing tomorrow, so the deadline is tomorrow, Friday deadline for game week 9. Make sure to get your transfers in. Don't wait until Saturday. It will be too late. Nottingham Forest, they have an expected clean sheet percentage of 36, which is actually second. Brentford and Brighton also have the same. I didn't have the possibility to fit it into this graphic, but Brentford, Brighton, and Nottingham Forest, the bookies believe in them this game week. And of course, Man City 56, the highest clean sheet percentage they have had this season, and Haaland 60% when it comes to anytime goal scorer. So decent triple captain option this game week, Haaland, but for me it will probably just be the regular captain. Was tempted to go Mbuemo, was tempted to take a punt on Foden, seeing that he will probably start this game week. He started in the Champions League as well, did well, won the Man of the Match award yesterday, and we know that both Doku and Grealish are injured, so hopefully Foden will start and do well in game week 9. No goals in the Tottenham Otmar game. Fenerbahce close, almost 1-1. United still 1-0 up, playing in Turkey against Fenerbahce. Mourinho's team. Chelsea played earlier this evening, rested the likes of Jackson and Palmer. Nkunku, Mudryk, and Joao Felix, Pedro Neto started, Cucurella as well. Easy win for them in Greece against Panathinaikos 1-4. Joao Felix 2 goals, and Nkunku taking a penalty and scoring as he has done earlier this season in Europe. As mentioned, most important for FPL, both Jackson and Cole Palmer got rested. No Reece James in the squad, so So I'm not sure if he's injured again or if he was actually just rested. Hopefully just a rest for him after being out for a while. Do you like Havertz to Raul and Saka to Palmer? Kind of depends how many free transfers you have for Juve. If you have only 2 free transfers, or if you have 1 free transfer, and if it's for a hit, then do you believe that you probably should keep one of them? And Havertz is probably the one to keep right now, but in game week 12, Arsenal have a fixture swing and you probably want them back, so selling both of them now if you don't have the spare free transfers to bring them back in game week 12 is probably not the best move. But if I had both Saka and Havertz in my team, I would probably consider something like this, but that's solely because I will wildcard in game week 12, so I have the possibility to get both Saka and Havertz easily in game week 12. I have 2 free transfers. Palmer will be my captain, as I have Salah. Once you don't have Haaland and you need a captain option as well, yeah, that kind of changes things a little bit. Do you have the possibility to just do Saka to Palmer though, or do you need the Havertz to Raul Jimenez move to kind of fund it? Must sell Saka as well, yeah. But to be honest, when you say that you don't have Haaland and you need a decent captain option for game week 9, I would not trust Salah playing at away against Arsenal. So Cole Palmer is a much better captain option for game week 9, playing at the Stamford Bridge against Newcastle. So considering Arsenal's fixtures, I would probably say that selling in both Saka and Havertz. To Palmer and Raul Jimenez. Yeah, I say go for it. Cole Palmer is also the second highest when it comes to expected goal involvement for anytime goal scorer this game week with 44%. Haaland is in a league of his own this week with 60%, Palmer 44 and Watkins 42. So yeah, selling Saka and Havertz right now makes sense if you want the captain option, but I would probably try to save up a couple of transfers in game week 10 and 11 if it's possible, so that you can get both or at least one of them back in for game week 12. Saka is actually second when it comes to transfers out this game week. 510,000 managers have transferred Saka out. Son is the easiest route into the Spurs attack when you sell Saka, and he has gained 288,000 new owners. There's been a mass sale of Arsenal assets this game week, with both Saliba and Saka being number 1 and 2 on the most transferred out list. So I believe that selling Havertz is fine as well, especially bringing in two decent options. Palmer, good captain option for game week 9, and Cunha. Raul with really good stats, and of course for the last 4 game weeks he has really smashed it, and Fulham have decent fixtures going forward. So yeah, he moves. Still no goals in the Tottenham game. 35 minutes played. Same in Fenerbahce against Man United. United 1-0 up after Eriksen scoring in the 15th minute. No. As mentioned earlier, Chelsea played earlier this evening. Won 4-1. Both Palmer and Jackson was rested for that game. Is everyone targeting Wolves players from game week 10? Ait Nouri. I want next week. Not sure about their forwards. Ait Nouri is a really good option, even though Wolves have struggled when it comes to keeping clean sheets. Their fixtures certainly cannot get any better than they have for the next game weeks, and it's not just the next 4, it's like the 9 next game weeks they have decent fixtures. So Ait Nouri is decent, 4.4, and playing really advanced for being a defender. So yeah, I like Ait Nouri. I like Cunha as well. He's probably their penalty taker. Not the best stats. Last 4 game weeks, Cunha had an expected goal involvement of 1, but they had a couple of tough fixtures, and it's been kind of unlucky. But I watched a couple of their games, and he's in really good form. He has the confidence. He is getting into the box, into good positions. So if you need a forward and want to take a punt on Cunha, I think that makes sense. I'm downgrading Gabriel to Ait Nouri so I can afford premium midfielders. Yeah, makes sense with Arsenal's fixtures. Arsenal have a couple of injuries, significant injuries now as well. Of course, the injuries to Saka and Ødegaard is not in their defense, but it kind of have an impact on the whole team. And of course, Saliba being out will not help. Kivior got subbed in when Saliba got sent off, but he was not looking good for the 60 minutes he played in game week 8. So selling Gabriel is probably decent. I want to save some free transfers. I will, as mentioned, use my wildcard in game week 12, but I would love to have 2 or maybe 3 free transfers saved up for after the wildcard. That's a new rule this season. When you use your wildcard, you will still keep the free transfers that you had before pressing the button. Earlier, if you use the chip like the wildcard, you will go back to having 1 free transfer the week after, even though you had 2 free transfers when pushing the wildcard button. So I'm really tempted to have a couple of free transfers when using my wildcard in game week 12. So for Gabriel, when it comes to his fixture, it's of course not the best, but I like playing Gabriel at home better than playing Van Dijk away, I guess. Both of them, of course, have some kind of goal threat with Van Dijk as well, but Gabriel has been really good this season so far with 2 goals already, so benching him if he scored would not feel good. So Gabriel will probably start for me, and I'm tempted to play Mykolenko as well, which means I will probably bench Smith Rowe because I don't want to have Smith Rowe playing against Mykolenko. So Rodgers, Semenyo, and Mbeumo and Foden will be my midfield. Calvert-Lewin, probably his last chance. I've said that before, but the pictures are so good for Everton. So hopefully he can do well in game week 9. Watkins, one of the players with highest, when it comes to bookies, according to the bookies, he has one with highest goal expectancy for game week 9. Let's see, top 3 anytime goal scorers. Watkins is third with 42%, only beaten by Palmer and Haaland. I'm taking a risk with cheap defense, but I prefer better attack. Yeah. One of the most important things is to always have really good weapon option, and it's in midfield and among the forwards we find the most expensive players, and of course because they are in some cases nailed on and on penalties, which makes them the likeliest to score goals and bring FPL points. So what will your defense look like after selling Gabriel? Was he like the only expensive defender you had? I like a cheap defense though. I even like rotating 4.4 defenders, maybe even having a 5.0 defender in some sort of rotation. I like that better than what I actually have right now with Smith Rowe 5.7 in a rotation with Semenyo and Rodgers. I do believe that benching almost 6 million week in, week out is not the best use of the budget. So from game week 12 and onwards, I will probably have a set front 7 with one cheap enabler and a bit cheaper defense. I'm playing Collins, Mikolenko, Aina this week with Gabriel and Colville on the bench. Yeah, makes sense considering fixtures. Do you believe that your defense will do well? Collins, Mikolenko, and Aina. Yeah. Even though it's cheap, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not good. I like all of them this game week, and I will play Mikolenko myself and bench Van Dijk. But for this, as mentioned, one of the top teams for expected clean sheet with 36%, only beaten by Man City. I think 5 average defenders can rotate. Okay, yeah. It's not a good rotation in defense. Most of the times it will work out, but when it comes to goalkeepers, it's harder to predict because the tougher games can at times be the best fixtures for goalkeepers when it comes to save points and unexpected clean sheets. Then the goalkeepers tend to get bonus as well. So when it comes to rotating budget defenders, if you find a good rotation and find teams that are in good form, then it's a really, really good strategy. So in earlier seasons, I've done that with great success. This season, I went down another route, playing or starting with three really strong defenders, with Guardiola, Gabriel, and Van Dijk being my go-to defenders. My hope was that Van Dijk could get something when it comes to attacking returns, of course, but he has been kind of disappointing. He's done well for both the Netherlands. Yeah, he got suspended, but he has also scored a couple of goals for them. He has scored in Europe as well. So it has been frustrating owning Van Dijk, watching the Liverpool games, seeing how few chances he's actually had when we compare to other seasons. But I'm kind of satisfied with how my team looks set up for game week 9. Not the best fixture for Henderson, but hopefully he can get some save points against Tottenham. If he can get a clean sheet as well, that will be really, really good for my rank, seeing that I don't have any players in or from the Spurs attack. So of course a Henderson clean sheet would be a really big bonus. Guardiola, really good fixture. Gabriel, not the best against Liverpool, so I believe that Henderson and Gabriel are the two players in my team that I don't really expect that much from. But Mykolenko, this will be the first time this season he starts for my team. Rodgers and Watkins both scored last game week. Hopefully they can replicate their game week 8 performance. Semenyo, I mentioned him last week, did actually play pretty well against Arsenal. I watched that game. He had a couple of chances. Of course, it helped Bournemouth that Arsenal played 60 minutes with 10 men, but Semenyo looked good. And Bermo against Ipswich, actually considered him as my captain this game week. And Phil Foden, hopefully he will start. Doku and Grealish are confirmed to be out, so hopefully Phil Foden will start in game week 9 against Southampton. Calvert-Lewin, yeah, he needs to do something. And Watkins is top 3 for expected goal involvements in game week 9 according to bookies. And Haaland, of course, he is my captain. It will be really interesting to see Haaland's ownership going into game week 9. I think that he will be captained by a lot, and some will, in addition, use their triple captain this game week. So last game week, I think his ownership was 150, but we may see even 170 or something like that in game week 9. So really scary to go without him. And you really need to nail down your captaincy if you're not captaining Haaland in game week 9. Well, I can clean sheets 36%. Kind of surprising seeing those high numbers for Brighton playing against Wolves. I wouldn't let the Brighton clean sheet stop me from getting Cunha. A couple in the chat have suggested getting Cunha in for this game week, and I think that's a decent move, even though Raul Jimenez probably is my favorite budget forward at the moment. Hopefully he'll stay quiet in game week 9, of course, so my Mikolenko pick can actually get me some points. "21 hours until deadline. Make sure to lock those transfers in tonight or tomorrow. The deadline is tomorrow, Friday deadline this game week, so you have to make your transfers tomorrow for them to count for game week 9. Close to halftime. It's actually halftime now. Still no goals in the Tottenham game. United still 1-0 up after Eriksen's goal after 15 minutes. Spurs, they are resting their best players this evening, while United actually are playing almost their strongest team. Bruno Fernandes, of course, he's not playing tonight because of a suspension in Europe League. Spurs, they are starting with Udogie, so he's played all matches in the Premier League at left back as well, and they are playing Maddison, but that's probably just due to his suspension as well. Richarlison starting up top for Spurs. So for me, Solanke is not the best buy at the moment. He's, of course, a bit cheaper than Son, but his stats for the last couple of game weeks have not been good, to be honest. Only a couple shots on target, even though he did really well in game week. Was it 5 and 6 or 4 and 5? There were a couple of game weeks where Solanke absolutely smashed it when it comes to expected data, but in game week 7 and 8 he has been really quiet. If you want a Spurs attacker, Son is probably the best, although he is the most expensive one. And if you don't have the budget for Son, I do believe that Johnson still is a decent option. Maybe should have scored in game week 8 as well. One decent option in defense for the next couple of game weeks is on set pieces for Spurs. But if you have the budget to get Guardiola, I would prioritize tripling up or doubling up on Man City by bringing in Guardiola. And he is also the most transferred in defender. Actually, the most transferred in player ahead of game week 9 with 314,000 FPL managers bringing him in already. And this number usually goes up a bit during the week, of course, but when we get even closer to the deadline, those numbers tends to skyrocket. So Saliba, 500,000 managers have sold him already, and I do believe that maybe Guardiola will see something similar. Maybe 500,000 will have brought him in before the deadline tomorrow evening. Let me know if you have any questions. I will probably save a transfer this game week. I do believe that my team looks good and I have a strong bench with both Smith Rowe and Virgil van Dijk. My captain will most probably be Haaland. I know that some are considering using their triple captain. I will probably just captain him normally. Mikolenko will probably start and keep Van Dijk on the bench. I'm tempted as well to use a transfer to sell Henderson. I was really frustrated on Monday watching the Crystal Palace against Nottingham Forest match, seeing him let in that easy goal from Chris Wood, who was also the biggest threat in that game. So yeah, it is what it is, but at the same time, spending a transfer on a goalkeeper before I will spend my wildcarding game with 12 probably isn't the best idea. So hopefully he can get some save points in game week 9. I need to leave the stream, but good luck everyone. Hopefully more points this week than last. Yeah, will probably be hopefully be a high scoring game week. So good luck, FOMO. Thanks for joining, and hopefully see you next week. And good luck with the triple captain on Haaland. I'll cheer a little bit extra when he scores against Southampton on Saturday, definitely. "21 hours and 30 minutes until deadline. Make sure to remember that it's a Friday deadline this game week, so you have to make your transfers before Friday evening. My captain will probably be Haaland. I will probably save a transfer. Let me know if you have Any last questions? Thanks for joining in. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe if you like the content. I usually go live either on the night before the deadline, or I do deadline streams depending on how much time I have on the day of the actual deadline. So subscribe to the channel to get notifications. Who would you captain out of Mbeumo, Palmer and Salah? I would avoid Salah playing against Arsenal away. I do like Mbeumo playing against Ipswich, but for me, Cole Palmer is probably the safest option. He's also number 2 on the list for expected goal involvement according to the bookies. Haaland, he's first with 60%, Palmer 44, and Watkins number 3 on the list with 42. So for me, it would be Cole Palmer for captaincy if I didn't have Haaland. Who of these 3 would you play? Strand Larsen versus Brighton away, McNeil, Fulham, and Aina. First of all, I would go for one of the attackers. Strand Larsen, really good form. I would probably take a punt on Strand Larsen. I actually liked him against Man City. Not only did he get a goal, but he looked sharp as well. He's getting into really good positions, and it looks like the Wolves system is trying to feed him. So Strand Larsen with low ownership as well, nailed on. Yeah, for me it would be Strand Larsen. We know that he will. Yeah, McNeil is at home against Fulham. Yeah, I have Calvert-Lewin in that game and Mikolenko, so I actually have double Everton. I do like that fixture as well, but I think that Strand Larsen, we know that he is their number 9. He will play up top. He will be in the box, and as mentioned, it looks like Wolves are trying to feed balls to him in the box, and he is in good form right now, so it makes sense to start him out of those 3 options. No worries. Good luck this game week. Hopefully, Strand Larsen will do well for you. Thanks all for watching. Good luck this game week. Please subscribe to the channel. I do a weekly game week selection video, which usually comes out on Tuesdays, and I tend to do either a Friday night stream the night before the deadline or a deadline stream if I have the time on Saturday when the deadline usually is. So thanks for watching. Best of luck for game week 9. Last question, I got Raya. Should I bench Gabriel for Aina? Really thinking nothing of you. Yes, definitely. If you have Raya in goal, I would take a punt on playing Aina ahead of Gabriel. Yeah, really tough fixture for Arsenal. Can't really see a clean sheet. So what you would be hoping for is save points from Raya or a goal from a set piece from Gabriel. So Nottingham Forest actually can keep a clean sheet, and Aina as well can get an attacking return. So yeah, especially as you already have Raya in goal, then Aina over Gabriel. Wish you also good luck. Yes, thanks. Hopefully see you next time. Have a nice evening and good luck.